Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I am your hostess, Tracy Latona with Golden Rose Financial Coaching, where I guide people to gain clarity, confidence, and control of their finances to achieve the financial future that they want for themselves. This week is a super special episode, so please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see all the wonderful content and to help people break free in their finances to achieve financial freedom. So today's episode is near and dear to my heart. It is Giving Tuesday, so I would be out of bounds if I didn't do this episode on generosity. So the episode is, do you want to be more generous? Time and time and time again, with conversations that I've had with people, with deep dives, consultations, their why of why they want to break free in their finances is partly because not only do they want to gain more control instead of having their life control them, but they also want to be more generous. They want to pursue philanthropy or help their families more or help their neighborhood and their community more. So let's dig into some statistics real quick. So Lending Tree in 2021 did a survey and found that 56% of Americans, slightly over half of Americans, reported charitable giving on their tax returns. That surprised me a little bit more. I thought it would be a little bit less, especially coming out of the pandemic. However, this next number said that the average of the entire year of giving was $574. So that is down 14% from pre-pandemic levels. So in 2019, people were able to give more people were able to give, period. And we're still kind of down from that after COVID. In 2017, this is a little bit of an older study, Fidelity Charitable found that 64% of donors, so people who are already giving, said that they wanted to give more. They were giving, but they were like, man, I wish that I could have a greater impact. I wish that I could give more money. And the number one reason why they were not giving more, the thing that was holding them back from being as wildly generous as they wanted to be, was because of their financial circumstances. How many people do you know, or maybe you felt this yourself? You see a need and you want to help, but you look at your bank account, but you're like, oh, I'm broke. Or, oh, I don't think I can wing that because I don't know where my money is going for the rest of the month. The second the second impact that was preventing people from giving more was they weren't sure where their money was going within the organization and how it was going to be used. They weren't sure about the impact that it was going to be having. So I've had lots of conversations with people who were hesitant about giving to certain organizations because they weren't sure or hadn't asked, hey, how is this money really going to be used? Is it going to be used to pad the lining of the organization, or is it actually going to be used to help people for XYZ or animals or whatever it is they were giving to? Quick tip, if you are giving to a church, you should be able to approach your church's accountant or pastor and be like, hey, would it be okay if I could see the financials so I could see how the church is stewarding the money that's being given? And the person might say, yep, here you go. They might say, hey, we go over this in the next business meeting, come join us. And if they say, sorry, that's not something that we give out, that might be your cue to be like, okay, getting a little bit of a flag here. So, what would you do if you were in a position to be wildly generous? If money were no issue, your bills were paid, you were debt free, you had your emergency fund in place, your house was paid off, and you had extra cash flow just coming in left and right, what would you do with that? How would you use that to be generous? For me, I would love to go to restaurants and leave $100 tips. I've been in that position where that $100 tip made the difference between me being able to pay my rent or not. made the difference between me being able to go out and buy groceries or going hungry for a couple of days. So I want to in turn return that generosity. Another way that I want to be generous is if somebody wants to go on a mission trip, I want to be able to write the check and be like, here you go, do God's work. Those are the things that drive me, that excite me about generosity. So, what's keeping you from doing that? What's preventing you from being as generous as you would like to be? Is it because you don't know where your money is going? Is it because things feel really, really tight and you're in a lot of debt and your money is going to pay for past purchases? Or is it because you're not sure of the impact that it'll have? So you're kind of hesitant. I'm not sure if I want to give this organization money because of how it's going to be used. Another tip with that is you should be able to pull up the financials, especially on nonprofits, to see how they've used that money. Now, just because this is just my personal thing, just because somebody works for a nonprofit doesn't mean that they should be living in poverty or broke. So if you see a portion of that going to pay salaries, they got families and they need to eat too. Nonprofit is literally just a tax status, and they can't have a certain amount reserved for quote unquote profit, but they still got to pay their people. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox there. So, as you take control of your finances, as you steward the resources that you have well, this is what's going to happen. Pretend that this is your household, this is your cup. This bowl is the overflow of those resources and that cup. If you have resources given to you and your cup is only half full, either because there's not enough resources or the resources are trickling out somewhere else, meaning like a lot of debt, a lot of not keeping track of where your money's going, that kind of thing. You don't have a whole lot to pour out into those around you. However, if you do manage your resources well and you do continually see things as blessings versus entitlements, what's going to happen? Your cup is going to be full. Your household is going to be taken care of when Murphy knocks. And wouldn't you know, your cup is going to overflow into those around you. And wouldn't you know, that bowl is getting full. I'm not sure if you can quite see it, but there is a water line in there. I saw this in a video and also in person a couple of times, and it made a huge impact on me. Making sure that your household's needs are taken care of first, so that way you can then in turn take care of those around you. So that way you can be generous to those around you. If your cup is empty, you don't have anything to pour from. If all of your money is going out in debt payments, or if you're not sure where your money's even going, you can't be as generous as you might want to be. Proverbs 11:25 says, "Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." How often have you been able to give and you were like, man, that felt really, really good. I want to do that again. I want to be more generous. I want to be wildly, radically generous. Now, that doesn't mean like giving away your entire paycheck as soon as you get it when you have bills to pay or you've got kids to feed. What that means is using the additional resources above what you need after your home is taken care of to overflow into others. Studies show time and time again that people are happier when they give, especially when they feel like they have the choice of whom they give to and how much they give. So if you're in a position to where you don't have the financial resources to give, perhaps you're in the process of paying off debt so that way you can be in that generous position. Perhaps things are a little tight right now because of job loss, or things are just Murphy's just kicking down your teeth this month or in this season. You can be generous in more than just the financial way, not only with your treasures, but also with your time and with your talents. So, if you long to be generous, if you long to serve and help your community or your church or an organization that's near and dear to your heart, think about also donating things that aren't financial, such as your time and your talents. If you have a heart for animals, I know animal shelters are really, really hurting for people to come clean kennels or spend time with the cats and dogs who are waiting for homes to be adopted. If you have a specific talent, perhaps helping an organization or a community or a person with that talent, whatever the case, if you are looking for ways to be more generous and you either need help shaping what that could look like, or you know, man, I want to be generous with XYZ and make an impact with this, but there's a but in that sentence. I would love to have a conversation with you. Please schedule some time. We'll take an hour. We'll dig into your dream of what that looks like and create the roadmap, tools, and accountability on how to get there. Thank you so much, guys. I hope this was powerful and impactful. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you. I'll see you next week.